Oh, they forgot to take it. Okay. So, yes, Alice, my 4th of July column, my talker, my inflammatory essay on the 4th of July is hitting more people out there. And this guy said on Twitter as efforting thought criminal, it's rhino season, said to me, "Cheerio, Tom Shattuck." He tagged me. "If you love Great Britain so much, you're more than welcome to bugger off and move there, you old wanker."
Sounds like fan mail.
Just think in his mind, he had to say to himself, do I go with old or go with fat? Gotta streamline it. I don't want to use both. I want to make sure I'm clear here. You old wanker. In fact, go eat and then he has a picture of Heinz spotted dick. Sponge pudding. Right there. And so, by the way, I looked up, this is going to, the peanut gallery will be interested in this. I looked up dick today, Alice.
Spotted dick or regular dick?
No, all dick. But the food that is dick, which still doesn't make this any better.
Okay.
And it's a Victorian era saying for pudding. So you could have spotted pudding, which was spotted dick, which was pudding with raisins and specks of stuff in it.
Okay, so that's the spot.
And all sorts of dick. In this household, Alice,
we're now going to call...
we're a dick family.
Okay.
Any pudding now will be dick. And that includes...
Does it mean all desserts or just like literal pudding? Because in England, they call dessert pudding.
Well, Jesus. I don't know. Maybe there's another element.
Because in general, like, instead of saying, like, oh, we're going to have dessert after dinner, they'll say, we'll have pudding.
Oh, yeah, did.
Even if they mean, like, they're going to have chocolate cake and cookies, they'll say, like,
well,
it's pudding.
Actually, if you read The Hobbit, there's a lot of stuff being passed off as cake that is not cake. That the dwarves come in and eat all his cakes. And, like, that is not a cake, sir. That is a plain cookie. Whatever. Okay, so there you go.
Well, that's all the food you're going to have when you move back to England.
Graham has told me not to start promoting this column yet, although
it's out there.
I know, but is it out there on inside sources?
No, but it's around.
Let's go! How could you not take this column? Not only is it perfect filler, but it's... I want more spotted dick responses. And, by the way, where's a little love from my countrymen, the English?
They're a little preoccupied with...
Well, that's the other point, actually. A friend of ours was going back and forth.
Now it's kind of a bleep hole there.
Well, yeah. I mean, this column kind of expires in 1999, really. Yeah, they've got the Islamo-fascists run the place, so it's... Yeah, every place is ruined. But then again, they're going to run New York soon, too. And so, all right. You probably noticed that my friend Sage Steele has retweeted me for putting this up.
There are some who look at the data and suggest that you're enjoying a competitive advantage. What do you say to that?
There's a lot of factors that go into a race and how well you do. And the biggest change for me is that I'm happy. And sophomore year, where I had my best times competing with the men, I was miserable. And so having that...
There are some who look at the
so
data...
this has gotten some responses, but not surprisingly, especially since Sage Steele has put that. A woman named Jamie Brown, liberal Jamie, says, it costs you nothing to call her a woman. And she's right. It cost me nothing to...
Well, it costs you being truthful.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And to which... I just want to read more of hers. She said, you need to take a reading comprehension course. I said it costs you nothing to call her a woman. I did not touch on the topic of trans in sports. She also says, she is whoever she chooses to be. Why do you care? Isn't that
Why do you care?
Isn't that the Matt Walsh thing? What is a woman? Why do you care so much?
Why do you need to know?
Well, right. Like, nobody's saying, like, if you want me to play the fantasy game and indulge somebody, I'm fine. I will do that. If somebody wants to be called something, I'll do that. If somebody even wants me to call...
But also, Leah Thomas is not in the room with us right now.
Right.
Like, this is not a case of... You know, this person at my work thinks they're a woman, and so, like, just because we have to get through our work day together, I'm going to play along kind of thing. Leah Thomas isn't here.
Right.
We're free to be truthful. He doesn't know that we're calling him a guy behind his back.
Right.
Like, it's fine. I
I
mean, he does know that everybody in the world is calling him a guy behind his back because he is a guy and he knows that everybody can tell. And that's why there's so much weird sensitivity around this. But, like, he's not here to have his feelings hurt by us.
Exactly. And she says she is whatever she chooses to be. You don't get to decide. Once again, this is okay, fine. Somebody else said trans began when clothes were invented. Trans people began when clothes were invented. And unless clothes were invented in 2014, that's not true. This is all a dumb game of dumb stuff. We had trannies and cross-dressers and whatever they called.
Well, and every sexed animal on the earth can differentiate between male and female of their species. Every infant can differentiate between male and female humans. Like, this is not a hard thing, right? Like, this is the person, and it was at a I think it was at a swim meet, that video that went around a couple years ago where somebody said, like, are you a biologist? How do you know it's
yes?
And she said, like, I'm not a veterinarian, but I know what's a cat and what's a dog. Like,
yes.
It's not, this isn't some, like, trick question. We have things we call men and women, and this isn't hard. And, you know, you can go and pretend something else and play with definitions and whatever. But, like, at the end of the day, we all know. It's like if you say, right, we talked about this before, when you do this definition game, you can get weird places, right? Like, what if I say, how do you know the difference between, like, a table and a chair? And, like, you know, one's a table and one's a chair, but you're like, well, the chair is a back. Well, is a bar stool a chair? See, chairs don't have to have a back. So how do you know that this one's a table and this one's a chair?
Well, yeah, and that's the same thing when you start to say that you got to get rid of all the pit bulls, and they're like, well, what breed is a pit bull? There's no actual single breed that is like. I know the murderous fuckers when I see them.
We know what women are and what men are, and we know.
It's the one tearing the kids' limbs off, and they all look fairly similar. But okay, that's what they want to do. I've got Sage Steele on my side. I think it's pathetic. I'm going to hit you with a surprise one now, Alice.
Oh,
okay,
good.
This is Charlize Theron on whatever it's called. Call Her Daddy with Alex, whatever her name is. Charlize Theron is 49 years old. And here we go.
With women, it's always like, something must be wrong with her. She can't keep a man. She must be a real bitch. What a cunt. I love that I don't have to run every fucking thing by a guy. I'm having the kind of sex I never had in my 20s or in my 30s. We should be the ones that are like, fuck you. Like, I'm gonna have an orgasm. But I did just recently fuck a 26-year-old, and it was really fucking amazing. There's a casting for this movie, and you have to go on Saturday night, and they gave me the address, and it was this director's house. The little voice inside me definitely said, this isn't right. I remember, like, being furious with myself because I couldn't believe how I had let myself down. Like, I was like, what the fuck? Who the fuck are you? Where the fuck? Why the fuck would you allow that? Until you are in this fucking environment, don't tell me how you're gonna behave.
Okay, whatever. That last stuff with all the F words, I don't know. I don't know what she's really going about. That's going to be a lot of work. Oh, pain in the ass. But, like, this thing with... I don't know what this is with women having to constantly have these spiritual revivals based on, like, this, like, fling that she had. I mean... And it's sadly the story that she's talking about. I just recently blanked the 26-year-old, and it was effing amazing. That is not the experience that dude had. If she heard the description of the experience the dude had, I think she'd be deflated, to say the least.
Why?
Because he is. If you're a 26-year-old guy, a 49-year-old woman is a lot older. And I just think it's so like, okay, so by the way, why is it a thing that you manage to have some dude who obviously would nail anything treat you like an anything?
Well, yeah, and especially if you're like technically a Hollywood star celebrity, right? Because that's like a big notch in the belt, sort of, even if you're old and not hot anymore.
Well, right. But I mean, maybe she's like, maybe it's great, etc.
I mean, she's probably more attractive than the average 49-year-old off the street.
There's a reason, like, there's a good practical reason, and a biological reason why girls don't act like guys when it comes to this stuff.
Well, and
I know she's on
was I understanding the right the second half of that clip where she's talking about like sleeping with a director because she felt like pressured?
I don't know what the second half was, so I kind of let it go too long.
But I kind of feel like if you're gonna complain about that, then you also don't get to be like, but I'm just one of the guys, and like I drop F-bombs a lot and talk about fucking 26-year-olds, you know? Like,
well, and that makes it also because I assume Alex Bennett is probably under 30 years old, or Alex Cooper is probably under 30 years old, and so it's desperately trying to fit in with her. You know what it is?
Right.
You know what it is?
Mm-hmm.
It's the Donald Trump grabbing by the pussy tape.
Yeah.
Trying to impress this much younger person, at least Billy Bush was back then, in a way that's like, you're 50 years old, Charlize Theron. Like, we get that you...
Yeah, just go plant some tomatoes in a garden and bake a sourdough or something. Like, really? Like, just live your life.
It's like Madonna's Madonna acts. Just stop it. Not that 50-year-old women can't be hot, because she is beautiful. She'll be beautiful at 60 and probably 70 and 80. Like,
Yeah.
But there is...
But you're more beautiful when you don't try and act like something you're not.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's just total desperation. Total desperation. All right.
There was like a time around, I think it was her who was in The Italian Job, right? When she was like really one of the most beautiful women in Hollywood, I think.
She was. She was in Monsters.
Monster. She wasn't beautiful in that though. That was.
Wasn't
she? Was like in Monster. She was like deliberately ugly. That's why she won an Oscar. Because when attractive people on purpose look ugly in movies.
No, she was a psycho killer, right?
Yeah,
I
but
thought...
she like on purpose gained a bunch of weight and looked like
really?
white trashy. Yeah,
maybe
from Monster. I don't know. Google it.
Okay.
Yeah, and the chat is talking about she has a trans kid, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Sharon does.
Yeah,
Tommy was saying, doesn't she have 3 trans kids? And Julian Phil said, no, that's Megan Fox who has 3 trans kids. But
right.
she has one
or
at
Catherine
least.
Clark has 6 or whatever.
I think Catherine Clark only has 1, to be fair. But yeah, that's every Hollywood celebrity, lefty politician, leftist activist, it has to have like 1 accessory trans kid. That's just part of the territory.
Yeah. And you know what the funny thing is that...
I mean, the odds seem incredible.
Right.
Among that demographic.
Well, I mean, and that's what the whole psychosis of it is. You can't have it without having evil Republicans. And certainly Donald Trump.
Right.
Because now you're saying, okay, little Timmy, you're 3 years old. Listen, the bad man, you'll see probably the bad man can't hurt you. And I'm going to make sure you're as safe as you want to be. What can I get? What do you need? Do you want this? Can I indulge you on this? Can I indulge you on this? Can I indulge you on this? Let me know the things I can indulge you on to show you. And that person over there, F you, buddy. We're doing trans stuff here because I love, this is called love. I love my child. Unlike your children who are, owned by Russians and shoot animals, this is love that we're showing here. And we're indulging this little person here. And you see? And we're going out. And yeah, I'm posting on Facebook that he's got a new name. That's right. What's it to you? What it is it's a response to a provocation that's not really there.
Yeah.
But they think it is. And so now we're doing all the trans stuff. And the issue is going to be is that everything goes out of style. Nothing just stays.
Yeah, lobotomies went out of style.
Lobotomies go out of style.
And then
bootcut pants went out of style, then whatever.
And everybody thinks the people who did the lobotomies are psychotic monsters now.
Well, right. And this fad, and also, like, these reckonings happen. Talk about Charlize Theron, and, like, it was just fine for a long time to use the casting couch to run through as many little starlets as you wanted to, until it wasn't, which is actually another result of Donald Trump. But there's going to be a reckoning for this stuff, too, because it's suddenly not going to be fine, and the culture is changing. I had a great talk with Rob Eno on Shattuck Show today. I think people should listen to it. He was just great. The culture is changing, where there's younger people and some established people who have now seen with clarity what's going on here. Not just with this stuff, but like the entire idea that you have pride activities that where a fat 50-year-old guy dressed as a whore watches a child from the audience work a stripper pole. Like 20 years ago, the cops would have been all over that. And soon it's going to be considered no bueno. Again, like it should be.
Of course. But like any person who isn't just following the trend knows deep down.
Yes.
And if you don't, and like we've talked about this a million times about like the Biden administration and how some of these people, if they don't give you the heebie-jeebies, then you have either deliberately turned off your danger sense because you don't want to know, or you somehow are like born without one, where you like don't have a danger sense anymore. Because if the luggage stealing bald creep didn't make you nervous, then like I just have questions about your red flag detection mechanism, like that you're innately born with, and especially as a parent. I mean, I know they say being a parent rewires your brain to like look for more danger around and stuff, and I think that's true. But I also, these same liberals that do this stuff tell us that like as women they're scared to walk to their car in the parking lot at night because they could be attacked from it. Where's that energy for all these weird creeps on the left? None of them make you nervous?
Well,
we're supposed to be looking out for creepy men everywhere, but the dude with his hanging out in the women's only naked spa he's not setting off any alarm bells when you have to hold your keys in your hand so you can stab your rapist at any moment when you walk across a parking lot after dark. Like, it just doesn't comport with the two things. If you don't think this stuff is creepy and weird and messed up, and you get back to the Facebook post that my friend reposted about like, oh, you can't police pride. If it's making you uncomfortable, then that's a problem with you, not with the... This is a movement built specifically on trying to overcome people's natural resistance to weird and scary things. People have a natural revulsion and instinct and like fear of like scary sexual figures, especially women should have that about men with weird fetishes. You're supposed to have a natural kind of like creeped out relationship with that. And one of the things predators spend all their time doing is working to overcome those natural barriers.
Well, right, but they think that it's a savior complex where our inclusivity is so compassionate. Yes, we'll take you L, we'll take you G, we'll take you T, B, we'll take you Q, we'll take you I, we'll take you plus, yes, everybody, we're completely inclusive to everybody. And that inclusivity is the priority over everything else. And if there happened to be some fallout from somebody who like has privilege, like female swimmers who don't want a male swimmer ogling them, whatever. If there happens to be some fallout, then you know what? No, inclusivity uber alles. That's all that matters. That shows just how we're really.
How is it
really
hurting
good.
you?
Right. How is it hurting you? She can be whoever she wants to be, which is a way to say, shut up, just let lie so that they can do the thing. And that comes from a place of having been somehow either traumatized or feeling that you've been traumatized, being told that you were traumatized growing up by your parents who were judgmental. Your parents judged you. Yeah. Your dad said that you weren't stacking up well in math. That's mental abuse usually. Yeah, your dad. Oh wait, your dad wouldn't let you see the Beatles? Mean alcoholic. Of course.
But that's exactly the tactics predators use, by the way. Is like, oh, your parents don't really understand. They don't understand how mature you are. They don't get you. Like,
right.
I get you. I'll take you to see the cool stuff that your parents won't let you see. Like, and I mean, this is like textbook stuff. Anybody who's taken a class to, like, I was a Boy Scout leader, you have to take all the classes to explain like how to look out for predators and stuff. And it's all, this is exactly what they do. Is they work to tell you, like, the normal adults in your life don't really understand you and you're mature and you're special. And that's exactly what this movement is like. That's why the groomer allegation is so sticky. You know, and I don't even think we talked about the dude who J.K. Rowling had been attacking J.K. Rowling on social media forever. And it turns out was hooking up with minors, like minor, like children.
Well, and Alice, I think that first of all, lesbians don't rape anybody, but gay men are not pedophiles in general and are not rapists in general.
No, but
I do think that once you add all the other letters, and inclusivity means the plus means everybody's welcome. Come on in. And if you know that all of those letters with the plus is where all the kink happens and all the edgy stuff happens, and all of the, living a good freak out time happens, then of course you're going to gravitate towards that. Because that's where you'd go. You just like in the 80s and in the 70s, those guys would know. In the 80s, if you wanted drugs and hookers in Boston, or a fake ID, or to try to get a gun, you go to the combat zone. You'd know. Well, the new combat zone is LGBTQIA+.
Well, right. Now, I think also that there certainly times change and things used to once be acceptable that are no longer acceptable. And that's true of things that happen in like the 16 Candles movie with street people. And it's also true of the norms of the gay community, which used to be much different than they are today. And that's why you have like Harvey Milk sleeping with a homeless teenager who then killed himself. Like, hero of the gay rights movement is really, like, by our standards now today, a predator. And I forget exactly the ages involved, but I think Alan Turing was also involved with somebody very young when he got in trouble for that stuff in England. And I think that it was the norm in the gay community for a long time, that it was okay for older gay men to be with much younger gay guys.
Yeah, this is what got Milo in trouble.
He said that he was abused, and he, as a very, very, like, a underage boy, was hooking up with older gay men. And I think that was for a long time considered very acceptable within the gay movement of like the 70s, 80s, 90s, like whatever, however long it went on. I don't know. I'm not an expert in the gay movement, but to deny that that's a reality of where that movement was, and that the sort of like NAMBLA wing of that movement didn't exist, is to deny reality, right? And that's not to say, I mean, there's gay guys now who are absolutely not child predators.
Absolutely.
And are doing their thing. But to pretend that was like never a part of it, and not even like children, I'm saying like post-pubescent, like teenage boys with older men, was a norm in the gay community. Other people have talked about that in a positive light. Like George Takei talked about that in a positive light previously in the past, that this was a norm.
Well, yeah, it used to be called, there was a bar, the Eagle Bar in South Boston, used to be where I knew this from guys I worked with at the hotel. They used to call it the Dirty Bird. The Eagle, because all the old gay guys would pick up the chickens, they called them, which were young, right fresh out of the wrapper gay guys. Okay,
Alan Turing's boyfriend was 19 when they were hooking up. So
I got no problem with that, actually.
Not technically, I'm trying to see how old he was at the time. I forget. But anyway, yeah, it was that was the issue with why they like convicted him of whatever indecency or whatever. How old was he? What year was he born? I can't say. But he was much, much older, obviously. I mean, and yeah, there has to be a line. But to say that it wasn't a norm that like older gay men hooking up on teenage boys was not a normal thing within the gay movement for decades and decades is, I mean, that's just not true. So, like, to then act surprised when that's a thing is when people associate those things together, you know, so the gay movement either has to get with the times and cut out the radical and toxic and evil elements, and or you get thrown away with it. Like if you can't separate your movement from that, and so far they have not fully successfully separated the movement from that. You know, that's the thing that remains there, and it remains to be seen. Like, can you actually separate this from this world and this culture and this life? You know, I don't know. I don't know if you can. So this is in 1951. He was born in 1912. So I'm going to say that means he was like 39. So like 20-year age gap. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's not like that one's not probably shouldn't be illegal per se, but I just don't know. You know, it's a question of a cultural norm, you know?
Yes.
So yeah, Milo got in trouble for it, but plenty of gay men have talked about this, not even in a negative light, for years. This is not a made up thing, but I don't know.
All right.
Julie and Phil want to know how old your boyfriend was at the Red Hat.
Paul was, he was much old. He was probably late 50s, probably at that time. Could have been even early 60s. Or yeah, there was a Barney Frank
quality. Yeah, but I mean, I think the gay movement is haunted by the same problem that it has that we've talked about like before, which is that the barrier to men and women sleeping together a lot more than they do is that women don't want to sleep together as much as the men want to sleep together.
Right.
And in the gay movement and in the gay community, there's no such barrier.
Well, no.
So like the horny teenager wants to hook up with the older gay guy, and the older gay guy wants to hook up with him. So like, there's no like natural barrier of like a 17-year-old girl is like grossed out by a 50-year-old man.
Correct.
Whereas like you know, this is the problem is that like men always want to have more sex than women do. So when you have a community of people who all want to have sex, then like they're going to have a lot of sex.
We've both known people who had sugar daddies in college, and the grossed out can be bought off.
Oh yeah, women have different priorities.
Absolutely, it can be, and that brings me to the Diddy thing. Who essentially is walking. He got charged with 2 of the lesser crimes, and I talked about this a little bit on Shattuck Show this morning, but packing parties.
Pepper's not liking the fireworks.
Oh yeah, packing. Oh, Haverhill has its fireworks right now. Haverhill, great fireworks show. Packing parties full of prostitutes is not unique to Diddy. Now, maybe he did some other stuff, and maybe there's some underage. Maybe he was into, like, he's obviously a kinky guy with way too much power and way too many sycophants around who'll do anything. Can't have that. But like, when you go to you haven't been, if you guys have not been to the Super Bowl, go to the Super Bowl. I was twice. I loved it. Not the game itself. I thought it was fine. When I was trapped in one of them, that was at 28-3 when I was trapped in. It turns out
it was good you stayed.
It was good I stayed. The other one I left, the Malcolm Butler one I left at halftime while Katy Perry's Sharks were walking up the loading dock. But the town, there's a whole village they make for the NFL with all different parties and activities and all these different things. And usually there's a couple of hotels right there where all the action is. And those hotels are wall-to-wall hookers. They come in from all around the country, maybe all around the world.
That's what they say. The Super Bowl is one of the biggest human trafficking events.
Yeah, but all that's not all human trafficking. A lot of that is chicks from OnlyFans and other places who want to make a ton of money and are going to all those places where all those nice parties are and having a grand old time. It just, I mean, and it's not just that. Anywhere, like, women know how to be prostitutes. What are you looking at? The fly?
There's a fly in
Women know how to be prostitutes. What do you say, Alice? It's the oldest. What do you say usually?
oldest profession.
You claim you made that saying up.
Mm-hmm. It's original.
But and I just think that not everything is human trafficking. It's simply not. And it's going to be interesting with OnlyFans now, in women being running their own bodies as their own business. It's going to be interesting if we're still calling it human trafficking. Now, that doesn't, I'm not talking about actual human trafficking when you've got a truck full of, Asian girls who are supposed to pretend that they're, giving massages for a living, who are like owned by somebody, or somebody who's someone who's strung out, and some dude puts her under his wing and will give her a fix if she, does tricks. I'm not talking about that. But there is a, in my mind, into my experience, there is a fine line between, if you're a woman who's 23 years old and you're hooking up like once a month, like my Malden person, who is more than once a month. So I'll go back to this. This is my first real girlfriend. I can never say girlfriend. She was from Malden, and she slept with just about the entire population of Malden, of guys from age 16 to probably 32. We never drove without her telling me that she had been with him. Fine. She also got in a car accident and pretended and sued the person and pretended that she had a back injury. Now, I know she didn't have a back injury because she was plenty physical around that time. But she sued the person, did all the things. She knew the whole scam, how to do it. And she had a masseuse come to her place who she slept with as well, which is amazing how prolific she was. It was like
while you were dating?
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. And she was with, so she did everything on trade. So so she got the guy was saying that her L6 joint spine thing she was a prolific at this. And so if there was OnlyFans back then, of course, would make sense. She's willing to be corrupt. She's willing to lie. She's willing to take money where she doesn't deserve it, and she's prolifically promiscuous.
Well, yeah.
So why wouldn't you just marry the two? You're right there anyway.
I know, but I guess then you get to the argument, and this is, I think, the difference between the people who think that they're classical liberals, so-called, and people who are conservatives, right? Is that you come to a point where you think there are some cases where people think they want to do something, but they should just be protected from their own stupid, bad decision making.
Say that again.
I think one of the big differences between people who think that they're classical liberals and people who say that they're conservatives is that the conservatives think there's a point at which people think they want to do something, but they need to be protected from their own bad decision making. Whether that's sleeping with everything that moves on trade because it seems like a great idea at the time, or whether it's doing drugs in the open air on Mass and Cass or wherever, or whatever. People think they want to do these things, but they're not actually better off, and somebody needs to step in. And yes, that's we had for a while a very kind of libertarian-ish Republican Party that was saying, no, that's the nanny state. No, let me make my own decisions. And I think in a lot of ways, with the legalization of a lot of drugs and a lot of the types of policies that we've seen enacted over the last couple of decades, that approach has been proven wrong. There are people who just need to be protective of themselves.
Sure. It's
Like,
funny.
I think that, so to say that, okay, well, maybe people should just be allowed to make their own bad decisions is, I guess, one thing. But that's very different from saying that all decisions are equally good or bad, which is essentially what our society has kind of done. Instead of saying, like, if you want to ruin your life and your children's lives by making your living on OnlyFans, then, like, that's the damage is all borne by you and people you love, so that should be up to you. We're instead saying that's, like, equally just as good as being an accountant.
Alice, you don't think society is going to provide an excuse for all these 24-year-old OnlyFans girls who 10 years from now won't look as good, will be a little heavier, and will be at their kids' soccer games? They're not. You don't think there's going to be books and books and books about how that was okay, and you were working through it? Because,
well, like everything else, they're going to friggin' blame society for telling them to do it. They're going to say, I was lied to.
Or going back to the Diddy thing, I was lied to and manipulated.
Right.
Because I was vulnerable.
I was trafficked.
That's right. I was trafficked. Yeah.
Which there's the OnlyFans stuff is a fine line because a lot of these people work for managers who take a cut. I was like 2 degrees of separation from somebody who like got a job doing this in California,
right.
Like managing a house of OnlyFans girls, like replying to their messages, all this stuff. It's run like a business. And that girl's not the one replying. It's some 35-year-old weed smoking dude who's making a buck pretending to like you. Like it's an industry, and there are absolutely managerial expectations for these girls, and they're treated like employees who do this. And I suppose in an absolutely free market, everybody makes their own decisions. If you choose it, you choose it. But there's no... It's a weird gray area to the whole thing. And I think there are reasons, I think we'll find out more of the reasons as we go along. Just like we found out about marijuana legalization, some of the reasons why we didn't have this be a thing, like the fact that you can't walk through any outdoor place in any city without having to walk through a cloud of people's weed smoke, which is disgusting.
Right. And I think that if you did OnlyFans and slept and hooked up with these Johns as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, some of them like have like video of them. I know. That's what Tim says. But it's like legitimate porn. A lot of it.
I don't see porn, so I wouldn't know.
It's
but
not
I've
just
heard
like
this.
Bikini pics.
Yes, believe friends have told me that's correct.
Okay.
But like, it's not human trafficking if you just wanted a Ferrari. But you'll go right back. Like my girlfriend from Malden, I used to at the time say, don't you think it's weird that like you've like been with all of these? And her response would be to get violent and mean. Don't you effing judge me? And so like I said, like she had a great. That's great. Just shut down criticism with violence, and that was it. And that was it. Now she's got like kids and stuff in a total life. She was like. She was not feeling shame. She was a special one. It's a generational talent, I would say. Who, by the way, gave me a venereal disease. I told you this, right?
We've all heard this story, Tom.
And then the doctor blamed me. She's like, Tom, have you been sleeping with other women? I said, no. She said, Tom? I was like, no. I didn't. I guarantee you, because this was in the clinic was in Malden. It's like, I guarantee you, 1 out of 3 guys who comes in here with this VD has patient 0 who is waiting in my car outside. It was an easy one though. Blame me. From Winchester. I think I said this last time. All right, ready?
I'm ready.
Wait, is there anything else? We're going to talk about the left being crazy and like Eli
about Nancy Mace.
Nancy Mace walking around in her pajamas. I am done. I know it's
She also can't make a post about anything without posting a picture of herself.
And I
Like
get
pretending
it.
to work
She's
at
had
a
a boob
desk
job or
or-
whatever. And
I think she's natural.
between Kristi Noem and Nancy Mace, this
Like, can you do anything without starring in it?
the cosplay stuff on the right, the Team Trump. Enough, God. It's. I mean, although Katie Britt, I'd be fine with her doing. But come on, stop it! It looks pathetic. Jesus, really? At some point, we want an evaluation of what's going on without us. The left is be clowning itself right now. You have Eli Mistal right now calling in an airstrike on the United States because he hates it here. Like, let them be the crazy ones gobbling up all the airtime, doing all the stuff they're doing for 5 seconds.
And I don't say this lightly, but our country needs to be sanctioned. We are the bad guys on the world stage. We are a menace to not only free people everywhere, but we are a menace to peaceful people everywhere.
So he's a psychotic with his stupid hair, but let it be them.
Yeah.
Let it be them. Don't let it be us. Let it be Tim Walz's daughter.
Alligator Alcatraz. Are we fucking serious right now? These people are literally supervillains.
They're literally supervillains. Let them be these morons. Do not let this guy, Maxwell Frost, be the moron.
Yeah, see, they say they're pro-life because they want the baby to be born, go to school, and get shot in the school. Die in the school, die on the streets. No.
And they try to rebuke him. He's like, no, I stand by it. I stand by it. It's like, okay. Just stop it, guys. Stop it. Let that side be side be.
I also I'm sorry, Nancy Mace. I think she's a very attractive woman, Nancy Mace. But she's a little old to be doing the, like... so's
totally.
Kristi Noem, but, like, this, like, conservative Barbie bit, don't you think?
Yes.
It's, like, I'm old, too, so I get it. And I think you can be an attractive older... Like, I think Ann Coulter's an attractive older woman.
Oh, totally.
But Ann Coulter doesn't go out here and, like, post weird selfies of herself being, like, a badass border...
No. She's also got
enforcer or something.
She's also got she's a genius. She's got a brilliant brain.
Yeah, but it's just, like, there's something distasteful about it after a certain age.
Agreed.
Like, just stop. Just be an attractive older woman with the opinions that you have. You don't have to pretend that who's the, like, hot White House reporter from, is it from Alex Jones's company? What is she from? She's from something.
I know, the
crazy.
little blonde,
Yeah,
bubbly
the one
blonde,
that they're upset about because she wears it. You can't be her anymore. You're 45.
Right.
Just stop. Like, you're not going to look like that. No one's going to treat you like that. I understand maybe when you were younger, people treated you like that, but just stop. Honestly, it's embarrassing to everybody at some point.
Should we do the chat, LB?
Let's do the chat.
9:35. Can we ever finish this thing before 10 o'clock?
Our preference is always
Yes.
earlier.
Yes.
The fact that this happened at 8:45 tonight was not
Yes.
because we wanted it to be there.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
The chili diet,
Yeah.
Tom?
Yep.
The chili diet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how efficacious the chili diet is.
What is efficacious? That mean
Effective.
Effective. Okay.
I cannot imagine the smell, like, from 300 feet away for someone who's just eating chili. It must have been as malodorous as the Western Front in World War I after a mustard gas attack. Holy cow. Oh, I'll never eat chili again.
Oh, yeah.
Tom's bringing some of his famous chili
Oh, yeah, I got to make that.
to the party on the 19th.
Yes.
That is a mere 2 weeks and 2 days away by my count.
That chili diet worked. It was
2 weeks
probably
and 3
around,
days, maybe.
I think that I may have lost after Supple dumped me, actually. I may have, that might be when I did the chili diet. And I had some great chili. Like, back then, first of all, I ate for free a lot around Boston because I was a concierge at the time. And there were all sorts of different chilies. the Planet something on Boylston Street had a great chili. They were great, and I don't know why I lost weight through the chili diet.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
And maybe I should save this for the food show. But I have a theory that any diet where you're limiting the different things that you can eat, you're almost guaranteed to lose weight because, like, there's only so much of any one thing that you can eat.
That's interesting. So
Do you know what I mean? Like, anytime you eat a restrictive diet, like whether it's restricting carbs or I'm only eating chili or like whatever it is, anytime you're like hyper restricting the different things that you can eat, you're almost certain to lose weight. Like, if you went on an all bread diet,
yeah,
like you would lose weight because you can just only eat so much bread. You'd be friggin' bored of it.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be
That's
sick
interesting.
of I just think that part of the reason people eat way too many calories is because we have access to so many different things that all taste good and we want to try it all.
Do you ever remember when you were young and like you have one day where you weren't really fat, but you were where like for some reason you
But
got
I
too
ate
much
like a
going
fat
on.
when
For
I
some
was a
reason you
kid.
got too much going on and like you forget to like eat that day or barely have one thing, and like your stomach kind of shrinks a little bit. So the next day you're like you don't really need to eat much.
Mm-hmm.
In the summer of '95, after I was jettisoned by my Malden girl, I of course was upset because I wanted to replace her and I couldn't replace her because nobody else wanted me, and so I felt sorry for myself and it was hot and we didn't have any AC, and we lived in Brighton at the time, and there's a place in Brighton, you guys will know it, in Comav in Brighton, called Chansky's, and I went on. Chansky's sold little jars of pearl onions. I went on a pearl onion.
Tommy in New Hampshire just said something amazing in the
What?
chat. He said, I didn't hear the word concierge 5 times in my life for my first 50 years. In the last 3 years, I've heard it a million times.
Well, it's like the ninja. I mean, very few attain such heights. But yeah, the pearled onion diet that's a really effective one because that's like eating nothing. But that was at Chansky's. I don't know if they still have pearl onions.
But yeah, you could, if you went on an all caper diet, I'm sure you'd lose weight.
Yeah, I probably should.
But like anything, like you could go on an all peanut butter diet or an all rice diet. Like if that's the only thing you eat, you're like almost certain to lose weight. How could you not?
Tom, one caveat to your shot of Shattuck show.
Yes.
New York City, the actual mayoral vote that's coming up, that one is not subject to ranked choice voting. It's only the primary.
Oh, really?
Which is completely stupid. But, they're trying to weasel it in. So, but with a field that large, there have to be people to drop out so you can easily get, a 1-to-1 ratio voting for an independent as opposed to communist.
Ah, very good to know.
Speaking of which, I don't want to like out anyone, but you know how they tried to pass ranked choice voting in Mass? And like, who was the case study that all my liberal friends used to say that we should have ranked choice voting? It was somebody that we saw recently who won a state rep seat without a majority because there was
in
a
Mass?
third party candidate. Yes. And we just saw her recently.
Oh, yeah. What's her name? Yeah.
Leah Cole.
Leah Cole,
Leah Cole Allen. We just saw her at something. I won't say what because I don't want to. But yeah, that was, she won a state rep seat in Massachusetts, a Republican, with not a majority of the vote because there were 3 people running.
Right.
And so that was one of the things that people would say to me was like, well, how is it fair that you have like a Democrat and a liberal independent and a Republican and, and she won, but she didn't win a majority. And like, if people could have ranked choice voting, they wouldn't have picked her and it's not right. That was like one of the things.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
Your friend Zachary's name begins with a Z. I have another word for him that begins with a Z. zero.
Oh.
And there's two meanings there, as in zero sympathy for this guy, and he's a zero. So forgive me. I'm listening to this sob story.
He's not a zero, actually. He's a good guy. He was at the. There's so many Zachary stories, but no, he was a good friend. I knew him forever, and I still know him. And he's not a zero. It's not his fault that he got cheated on, that all this stuff happened to him. It's not that everybody told him it was his fault, but it was not.
Zero. So forgive me. I'm listening to this sob story as related by you, and all I can picture is Don Corleone and Johnny Fontaine in the Don study, where Johnny Fontaine's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And the Godfather goes, you can act like a man.
Yep.
I mean, this guy, somebody give Zachary a copy of Rudyard Kipling's poem, If, that has the line, and I'm paraphrasing, about all the things you gave your life to being broken, and you stoop down and you build them back up with worn out tools. Rudyard Kipling doesn't recommend crawling inside a bottle and being a bitch. Oh, that nothing pisses me off more than that crap. He's destroying his children's lives.
It's not him.
I don't give a shit if he's house painting now. Anyway, I think I've said enough. Thank you.
Oh, I don't blaming him. It's her. She destroyed all the stuff. She had to go F around because she wanted to feel sexy again, like Charlize Theron or whatever. Oh, God. It's absolutely her. Blaming the guy, Steve. Oh, how dare you. No, this is why OJ was in the right. No. All right. Let's see. Blame him. Okay.
Hey, Tom, really enjoyed the shot of Shattuck with Robino this morning. Some good conversation, some good insight. I love the inside baseball, even though it's not an industry I'm too familiar with. Always love to hear that. And I also hope that the Blaze is going to announce at some point that Tom Shattuck has signed on.
Here we go.
I mean, how fitting that one more flamer ends up at the Blaze. Just perfect. Anyway, I digress.
I tell you.
I did want to say...
That is not, by the way, receiving a kiss from a person.
I'm not sure the Blaze looks too kindly on gay guys, do they?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they...
Does Andrew Sullivan work there by any chance?
I think you need to go work at the Dispatch.
Ooh, Alice, how dare you?
Anyway, I digress. I did want to say, for Rob...
Yes.
I mean, he put on his best Rutger Hauer from Blade Runner, the original. What a freaking drama queen. Tom, the last time I was in Boston, I stayed in my ivory tower down in the Seaport District. And
it was a bit of a brag about he was in the Seaport Hotel, whatever, which is easily like $380 a night.
While I looked over the city, I thought, I feel nothing. I feel nothing. Freaking Merrimack Valley, Lowell Base drama queen.
Oh,
God.
Attacking the Merrimack Valley. It was a good interview, a great interview. He's great. And it was a conversation also. It wasn't even an interview. And he makes a good point about Massachusetts. He's a real Bay Stater. This guy has had his feet in the ground here for quite a long time.
I was at his goodbye party, as a matter of fact, when he moved away.
Was I?
No, you didn't go. It was in Lowell.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, at a brewery, right? Brewery, right?
I think so.
Huh. Oh, that's interesting. Out in the town, were you, huh? All right.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
I enjoyed your discussion with your friend Myron Eno up until the very end when you asked him about what's the best pizza in the Merrimack Valley.
Yes.
And he answered Greek House of Pizza style pizza, which is just awful, awful.
Well, Steve, first of all, I had to wrap up, so I didn't really challenge him on
We'll have to have him on the food show.
He'd be great. But it's not my go-to either. It's not my go-to. Then again, he's French-Canadian, Steve, so I think They have different experiences. Rob is a quirky eater. He's a quirky eater. He is a famous Facebook or Twitter post of his consisted of him heating up a can of clams using the tap water from a hotel to heat the can.
Yeah, just laying the can in the sink and running hot water over it so it would be warm.
Yeah, so he's got a daring palate.
And as a person myself who's been known to make ramen out of the hotel coffee maker.
You're a sick bastard, Alice. Don't do that. Don't do it. There's been coffee running through that thing.
No, just water goes through it.
Oh, just don't.
And then it drips the water into it just makes hot water. And then it makes the hot water go into the ramen. You just put the ramen, the cup of noodles, under the coffee.
Such trash for somebody being from Lexington.
It's a really cheap way to eat on the road.
I put that right up there with Chicago deep dish.
I agree with you. That Chicago deep dish is... That was supple. Love that. We had to get that all the time. It was a great place in comment.
Hey, I'm friends with lots of Chicago Serbs who like.
Well, that's fine. But Chicago deep dish sucks. What it is it ends the evening in 10 seconds with all the freaking stupid dough and it sucks. Chicago does so much great, not pizza.
Crust is made by Wonder Bread in these Greek pizzas. It's terrible.
I agree with you, Steve.
The best pizza in the Merrimack Valley, as it were, technically, is Pier 28 in Salem, New Hampshire, Tom. The thinnest, the crispiest, deliciousness.
Are you a thin crust guy, though?
Yeah, of course I am. I don't want freaking bread. I want the precious. I want cheese. I want tomato sauce. I want onions. And I want a brilliant June Pride Month rainbow of grease on top. There should be 6.5 cups of grease on top of the pizza.
I've tried a lot of pizza places around here, and it's not like gourmet thin crust or like stone fired or anything.
Yeah.
But my favorite remains Port Pizza in Newburyport, in the plaza with the market basket in Newburyport.
They do a good job of what they do.
That is great. Not fancy.
Well, it's kind of fancy.
It's not great.
Oh no, I was thinking of Anchor Pizza. I'm sorry.
No, not Anchor. Anchor is fancy. Yeah. We know the people who run it, and they grow a lot of the stuff on their farm in Merrimack. They're great.
Port Pizza doesn't do a good job. Yeah.
But Port Pizza is excellent.
You got a great sauce. It's awesome. Ooh. Go for the pizza. Stay for the golf simulator and the hatchet throwing or the axe throwing. And I'm not kidding.
I feel like axe throwing is such a millennial gimmick.
What?
Pier 28.
Pier 28. We love Salem, New Hampshire. That's where Ralphie's is, obviously.
Salem, New Hampshire is great. But I do feel like axe throwing is a millennial gimmick. I do.
Yeah.
It's like for IPA drinking, bearded, 38-year-old.
I like what I'm hearing. Just think 38-year-old to me now is a young kid. Did I fritter away my life?
38-year-old. Do you realize now I'm the oldest person you've ever slept with?
I think she was 39. But she was definitely dead, by the way, of an immunocompromised disease. Definitely. Yeah, this is like 1991. Yeah, she is Sayonara. I have her name. I could Google her. I remember her name and where she's from. Oof. That was... Let me tell you one thing, Alice. I was 19 or whatever. Mm-hmm. That lady did not have a good experience. I can guarantee you. That was not, she was not.
She did not go away to her friends and was like, I slept with a 19-year-old. It was amazing.
No. I get the feeling she.
Did you severely disappoint her?
Oh. You have, well, no, maybe you do have an idea, as a matter of fact.
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry for the turn this show took. I apologize. If you want to join us in the chat, there's a big piece of discussion in the chat. So 39 in 1991
would make her what now?
Well, that was 34 years ago. So, 73.
Oh, maybe she's available. Perhaps I'll reach out.
Yeah, 20 years older than you. That tracks. We appreciate all you guys so much. If you want to join us for the chat and for extra stuff each week, then patreon.com/burnbarrel.
C'est la vie.
Love your dog.